Okay, back in our knuckle motor here. So it looks like I'm putting this whole gear chest together. So that means I got to deal with the oil pump and all that more than I already did. So first thing I was doing, I was cleaning things up. So I just honed the gasket surface here to see how bad it is. You can see the shiny spots where I honed it using my honing stone. So it looks like it's pretty flat there. I haven't done this side yet. Looks like there's a couple of dowel pins here that have been cut off or something, and put some cut marks across there. They hold this intermediate plate here, keep this all aligned. And also for the cover, you can see there's two dowel pin holes here. And it all stacked up on there, it all held it perfectly straight, so it wouldn't be all mismatched like it is right now. Instead of relying on just all the 4 studs doing it, they would actually have dowel pins in there doing it. So that's assuming they're going to keep the rotor valve, which is this thing right here. Basically this regulates the oil to your motor. So it cuts the oil off to the motor at lower RPM, bypasses it all so you don't have high oil pressure. I guess 2 pounds was too much for them back in the day. So anyway, this goes in there like that. Yeah, if you put it in straight would help. There it goes. And it's driven by the gear. Which gear was it driven off of? This gear. It goes in that screwdriver slot right there. And that's what drove it like that. And you have this plate on top of here which centered it all up. Give you a bearing surface and all that to work to. So it worked like that. So lower RPM you didn't have any oil pressure, high RPM you didn't have much either. So they didn't keep it that way for long. They took this piece of crap out after the war. And they started plugging up holes. They made plates with no holes in them. First you would braze the plates up with a dealer repair, kind of like a recall these days. So they weld them up, and then later on the bodies would come through and they wouldn't be drilled at all. So if you have a 47 motor, it's not drilled at all, most likely. But anyway, this one here still has everything active in it. I know in the early panhead they were dealing with all that stuff also, and then finally they just put the aluminum cover over there and 59 or 60 eliminate everything. Take this whole damn thing out of here. So if you plug it all up, then the motor gets all the oil pressure all the time. So that way you get a whole 5 pounds of oil pressure. Man, what I don't know is, does the aftermarket gear set even offer the drive option? They do not. I didn't think they did. And his gear is junk. So that is the original gear. So the small hole is the one that has to have a groove in it. Obviously there's no groove in that thing, so if we want that oil pump thing in there, we got to see if V-Twin offers one with a groove or not. I know they offer the pump. I think they have a pump with all this crap in there. If they did, they must make this gear here. But this is the gear they sold me, which was the early gear set. So I don't know what's going on with this. Unknown. I don't think they offer this version. I don't think they offer that. I think they offer the earlier one, which is the blank cover. Doesn't uses this gear set. Alright, so if you go to the customer, see what he wants to do. Me, I'd block all that crap off. Obviously, we're not going to have the drive for it, so it kind of forces your hand which way you're going to go. So it's just a matter of plugging up the holes in this, the feed holes. I know that's a feed hole for sure. Looks like the other one feeds off here or here. I heard it going under the bench. See, that's why you keep boards under your bench. Things can't go very far. So I'll read the shop dope, which is Harley's dealer information book. I have to go dig out a shop dope and figure out what we're supposed to do here. All that stuff's upstairs when I moved. So I think we're going to have to update this thing a little bit. Or we're going to have to come up with a gear that has the drive in it. And all my gears are, I think all that stuff's in storage. Assuming I even had one that was available. Probably not. Alright, more issues. I also got to see if you want me to blast this pump clean or leave it dirty. More issues. Let's see, I'm just cleaning this stuff up. So we're still going to hone the gasket surfaces here. It's just a matter of taking your honing stone here. And just going across your surfaces. Make sure everything's flat. This is not a sanding block. Ideally, you want to put this on a flat table and some paper and run it across like that. It's cut a lot quicker than this. This is extremely fine. I'm just looking for burrs right now. Obviously, there's no burrs, otherwise you'd be hearing it. Okay, you look at the surface and see how shiny it is. Definitely see the cut marks in here where they're filing it real heavy up to here, which that is deep. Very deep. So I think they're filing down the pins right here, and their file is cutting and they're pretty heavy. I hope that gasket seals pretty good. Or it's going to be a leaker. There's another big gouge right through here going across this way. And it goes across that oil hole too. So they got both oil holes. Nice. So to surface this, you got to take this out and then surface it down. Sanding doesn't get a full flat. It really needs to be surface ground to make it good and flat. But sanding tends to make things only partially flat. Looks like this hole's been stripped out a little bit. Gotta make sure, yeah, first 3 threads are gone. So gotta make sure there's still 3 good threads in there. More issues on that. This side doesn't look too bad. Alright, so we got some issues on that. I'm gonna take this one. Do the same thing. Now it's getting dry, it's getting loaded up. So you need a little lubricant on there like that. Honing stones like to be wet. They cut a lot better. Don't sand in one spot. Don't go on the same surface like that other. There's a big scratch in the pump. That's why it had a scratch in it. They weren't moving around enough. Okay, this one looks relatively flat. Cutting on the outside edge, which is not uncommon with any kind of sanding tool. It's a problem with sanding. Cuts on the outside edges usually. But this pump could be buckled from being tightened down too, so you never know. Alright, this doesn't look too bad. Let's see how this turns out. There's another plate. Feels relatively flat. Okay. No burrs, that's a good thing. Alright. No major imperfections like the oil pump body. Looks fairly flat, so right here where they stamp it out, it's all low through here. The whole thing just buckles away, but it's probably where it's stamped out, I'm guessing. Well, this here is bent up a little bit, causing it to be that way, but anyway, it's close enough. And after you're all done, you put the parts together. And if there's any kind of a gap in here, it's bad. Hear it? Something's not flat. So it's this way like this. So if something's buckled like this is what's causing that. This side's not. Pretty close. But it takes gaskets, so it should be alright. Take our body and put it on top of the body and see if it does the same thing. It's flat on the body. So you put pressure on a minute like that, you can hear a low spot. See, hear the gap. 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 These two are the gaps. And that was the direction it's on this one also. Yep, the gap's this way. So this plate's not quite flat. It's close, but not quite flat. But it's close enough, that's all that matters. Next, when this stuff's all together, you want it to be flat. Flat as you can get it. Okay, so have to wait to see what the customer wants to do on the oil pump. Either way, we've got to do something about a drive gear if he wants to run that thing. Either got to make it or see if I can get one. Alright, that's it for now on that one.